Well, what's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR. Welcome to another episode of People's Questions, episode 296. Before we get into you guys' questions, I would just like to say I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and by the time this video is up, I hope you're not all breaking your bank account for Black Friday, because personally, I was actually able to do all of my kind of semi-Black Friday shopping yesterday, so I'm not sure if I should do a video on what I eventually ended up picking up, because it's pretty cool and I am going to be taking it to a certain event in about 2 weeks, so please let me know if you guys would actually like to know what I picked up. But jumping right into your guys' questions, we got a pretty standard episode. I don't really see too many newbies. Looks like it's all regulars, which, you know, that's pretty good. We're starting off real simple with the first question coming from Virgil, the son of Sparta. You want to know, could I do a video of Sattler taking on Wesker? No, that match seems a little unbalanced. I mean, despite Sattler's odd abilities, I really don't think he'd be that much of an issue for Wesker. I mean, if someone like Leon could take care of him pretty easily, and in some cases you don't even need a rocket launch to take down Sattler, then Wesker would dispatch him with no real effort. Next question comes from Matt Cruz. You want to know, who is my favorite overall sports athlete? If I had really had to sit down and think about it, some of you guys might find this a bit surprising, but it's actually Julian Edelman from New England Patriots, which unfortunately he's currently injured and he'll be out this season. The reason he's my favorite athlete is for 3 reasons. Number one, the guy is incredibly tough, and to me he's always been one of the more reliable receivers. I mean, when the Patriots find themselves in like 3rd down situations, he's always like Tom Brady's like #1 target, and he's just a phenomenal player. Number 2, he's actually shorter than I thought he was, and I actually am a much bigger fan of shorter players, because with me being 5'8", I always had this idea that unless you were at least 6 feet tall, you shouldn't be playing football or basketball, which was like the main reason why I never really played that much while I was in high school. If I'd had like maybe some inspiration back then, I think I might have tried it a little bit more. And on top of that, just his overall story. He recently had a book that came out that I actually had a chance to go through it a little bit, and just looking at his story and what he had gone through, I thought was really inspiring. But he was my favorite athlete before the book came out. But he just is an overall reliable player. And although he's not really considered one of the all-time greats, it's just the fact that he has consistently proven himself, and he's worked through, you know, just all these doubters. I think it's just absolutely incredible, which is why he's, I would say at this point in time, is my favorite athlete in sports right now. And I even have his jersey, which, you know, some of you guys have seen before, so that's something. Next question comes from Goku-san. You want to know, if the G-Man from Half-Life was the head of Cerberus, do I think Shepard would have chosen to leave them like he did in Mass Effect 2? Unfortunately, Goku-san, I've never played Half-Life, so I don't know who G-Man is, so I don't know. I don't know. Next question comes from Cassidy J. Williams. You want to know, do I think that David S. Goyer deserves to take the blame for how Blade Trinity turned out, writing and directing wise, and for Wesley Snipes behaving behind the scenes? I think he deserves some of the blame. But you have to remember that if you can't control your actors, then that's one thing. But from what I had heard, Wesley Snipes was just really out of control. So, I mean, if you actually look at that movie, I think there's a good story there. I just don't think it was executed enough. I mean, I think the idea of the vampires being so desperate that they want to resurrect the very first vampire and then have him take on Blade, I think that was a really great concept. But I think that there were just too many storylines that were playing out throughout that film to actually make it very coherent. So I just think that having too many elements to work with just made the movie just too much of a mess. So I'm not even sure. I mean, maybe with some writing and making it a much more straightforward plot might have made it a better film. But I do agree that he does deserve some of the blame. But he has proven himself that he is a very capable writer. I mean, don't get me wrong. You're gonna make some mistakes as a writer and director, but he does have some talent. But yeah, I do agree that he does take some of the blame. And there's no getting around that, because everything has to go through you. You're, as the director, you're the one who makes the final call. And if you see something that is a problem, that's something you need to deal with it, not just pass it along like it's no big deal, because it can end up being a very big deal. Next question comes from Diadrive CJ, and you want to know, whom do I think could win between Castlevania's version of Dracula versus Alucard from Hellsing anime and manga? I don't know that much about, actually I don't know anything about Alucard from Hellsing anime or manga. I've never heard of it or read it, so I'm not sure. Next question comes from Alba Mera. And you want to know, that's not really a question, but no, I don't actually need your footage. I'm going to wait till the game comes out, and then I'll be able to get some more of that. Next question comes from Stantic Scorpion. You want to know, if I had to pick between living on Kashyyyk, Geonosis, Hoth, Coruscant, or Mustafar, what would it be? Well, personally, if I had the choice, I wouldn't want to live on any of those planets, because my favorite planet to live on would be Kamino by far. But if I had to pick between those planets, let's see, Kashyyyk has Wookiees, Geonosis is a desert with bugs, so that's a no. Hoth is too damn cold. Coruscant is just one big city, so that's kind of boring. And Mustafar is cool looking, but it's hot. So if I had to pick, I guess I would go with Kashyyyk, because, you know, as long as you're not messing with the Wookiees, I think Wookiees are pretty nice creatures. Next question. What the heck? Okay, this name, I get so many new people with names I can't pronounce. It's crazy. So there's your name, but for some reason this name looks so familiar to me, like I've seen it somewhere before. But your question was, who is my all-time favorite guest character in a fighting game? And I gotta go with Kratos and Mortal Kombat 9. I just thought he was an absolutely perfect fit. Now, fortunately, another YouTuber, or not a YouTuber, another viewer, actually thought it would be Scorpion from Injustice. And as much as I love Scorpion, Scorpion is my favorite Mortal Kombat character, no question. But I think he's an odd fit for Injustice. But I think Kratos was an absolute perfect fit for Mortal Kombat. And the fact that he was an exclusive character made me even feel more happy, because it was something Xbox could never have. So yeah, I'd definitely go with Kratos from Mortal Kombat 9. Next question comes from Aul Cerna. You told me I got it right, so I hope I got it right. And this isn't really a question, but it's more of a situation, so I'm going to go in depth. But you say, don't freak out. If Nemesis was behind me, would I run or fight back? Chances are slim if you fight back or a mutated monster holding a big-ass rocket launcher. Number one, why is Nemesis coming after me? If I'm not a member of STARS, he's not going to come after me. And if I'm not, and as it was shown in Resident Evil 2, the movie, which, believe it or not, I don't think is that bad. I actually like the first two Resident Evil movies. He doesn't attack anyone who is not STARS and is unarmed. So as long as I don't have any weapons, then Nemesis should just ignore me. I mean, he goes after STARS, remember? So if you say, Brian, if you're a member of STARS and Nemesis is behind you, well, then I've got a problem. But if I'm not a member of STARS, then there's no reason Nemesis should come after me. Next question comes from Mancho Whisker 17. You want to know, what are my thoughts regarding EA's taking microtransactions from Battlefront 2 for the time being, and the overall concept of microtransactions? I don't like them. I do agree that there is some sort of gambling, because you're not guaranteed what you get. I mean, that is the whole concept of a slot machine, is that you put your money in and then you press your little buttons and you don't know what you're going to get. That is gambling. I don't mind microtransactions as long as I know what I am getting. I mean, it's the same thing with DLC content. If I'm going to pay DLC, I want to know exactly what I am paying for. And if I feel that the price justifies the content, then I don't mind paying for it. But don't tell me that you're going to connect this progression system to this random loot box system, which means I have no control of how much my character will develop over time. And so I thought it was stupid. I'm glad they got busted. I'm glad that Disney's gonna do something about it, because I heard that they were pissed off that this is happening, because when government officials are talking about this game and are identifying it as gambling, that not only makes EA look really bad, that makes Disney look bad. And heck, you're getting this close to the next Star Wars movie. I have a feeling that they're going to come down hard on EA. And I even heard there's a possibility that they might even get rid of EA's exclusive, you know, exclusivity to Star Wars, and might even consider giving Star Wars to a couple other studios, which I would love to see, because I don't like this whole thing that Star Wars can't be about the story. I've always been a story person, so heck, if you give this franchise to a story-driven game company and they make just a standard single-player story-driven Star Wars game, that's something I would absolutely be up for. I don't need multiplayer. I mean, if there's anything, Horizon Zero Dawn is the best game I've played all year, and that just recently had a DLC content come out and continue, which I thought was actually pretty damn good. So, yeah, I'm glad that EA got caught for this, because this has been a trend that has ruined several games. I mean, heck, this because of this crap, it almost brought it into the Dead Space series, which I took very personally, because I was hoping that we would someday get a fourth game, and now that looks very unlikely. So, yeah, I'm glad they got caught, and I'm just not a big fan of microtransactions. DLC content, if it's worth the price, I'm okay with it, but not this crap. Next question comes from the Immortal Super Being, and you want to know, you prefer the Joker being the one who murdered Batman's parents. It gives the Joker and Batman a much better chemistry and connection, plus Batman not killing him makes the Bat a bit more heroic. Do you agree? If so, why? And if not, why? Personally, I don't think you need to have the Joker kill his parents, because the Joker's done enough to Batman to make it personal. So having the Joker be the cause of the I mean they did this in the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, and you know, you see, the funny thing is, a lot of people say that that was like one of the best Batmans at the time. No one took into account that Batman had no problem killing people. I mean, this guy openly tried to kill the Joker and ended up killing the Joker, and no one had a problem with that. So I personally, if you want to make him the one that kills Batman's parents, that's okay, but that's not necessary. I mean, he killed Jason Todd. That alone was very personal. He paralyzed Barbara Gordon and made her Oracle. That was very personal. The Joker has done more than enough things, aside from needing to kill Batman's parents and being the cause of why Bruce becomes Batman, to become such a great villain to Batman. So I don't necessarily agree that he has to be the one that kills Batman's parents, but if you do decide to add that, then you know that's okay too. Next question comes from Yoda Date, and you want to know, Thanos with Infinity Gauntlets versus Batman. Why is this even a question? Of course Thanos is gonna win. I don't need, I mean, if they did Thanos correctly in Infinity War, none of them should survive. I mean, even if you read the comic books, it is kind of BS how Thanos gets beaten so easily when he has the gauntlet. But honestly, if that weapon is as powerful as it has been, you know, projected, which I don't think they're going to do justice to it, then nobody in the Avengers should survive. But because this is a movie franchise, we know nobody of any real importance is going to die. I mean, they're not going to kill off anyone that they can make money off of or have a movie for, so I wouldn't be too worried about it. Next question comes from Cyborg136. He wants to know, what other Sith Lords need to be featured in the new Star Wars trilogy other than Darth Vader or Darth Maul? Personally, I don't want Sith. I don't want anything to do with the Force. If we're really gonna go, I mean, the one thing the director said is that he wants to take this next trilogy into a different part of the galaxy or the universe that we've never seen before. That includes the Old Republic. Everyone has been saying they need to do an Old Republic movie or trilogy. I don't think that's necessary, because the Old Republic storyline has already been told. Everyone already knows the Old Republic story, outside of people who are not fans of the game. The story has already been told. Personally, the Star Wars trilogy I would like to see is, let us not focus on the Force. Let us not focus on Jedi and Sith. Let us actually have a conflict that has nothing to do with the Force. The Force does not need to be driving Star Wars. I mean, if there's anything that Rogue One taught me, is that you can tell a Star Wars story without needing to have Sith play a major role, because Vader was hardly in that film. It was just random people taking on a random group of enemies. I would like that to be the main focus, and so I absolutely think you can have a really good antagonist that is not a Sith. Keep the Sith and the Jedi out. I mean, they pretty much have been the main focus of all three of these trilogies when it comes to the prequels, the originals, and probably this sequel trilogy, if you can call it that. But this new sequel, honestly, I would like it to focus on something other than any Force users. I would like to see that. If they could pull that off, I think that would be incredible. Next question comes from... Okay. We got another... Alright. The fact that this user sent me a video that goes to how you pronounce your name, I thought was incredible. Because that tells me a lot about you. But your name, and I spent about 2 hours trying to get this right, is Random Cairo. What was it? It was like Cairo. It's like Chiroptera. The person who was saying it in the video sounded really weird, so I hope I got it right. But you want to know, so now with the conditions, if you go there and there are no way back, how would you imagine you would survive if you were suddenly thrust into the reality of the Matrix? Well, if I'm in the Matrix, nothing. The Matrix, like literally, if I'm plugged up to the Matrix, I'm not a threat to the Matrix, and so the Matrix would pretty much be normal. Like, if someone is in the Matrix and they don't know it's the Matrix, then it doesn't feel like anything different than the normal world. And so basically, I would just be living my life in the Matrix as I'm living it now here in the real world. It would be no different because I wouldn't be able to tell the difference because I'm plugged in. So, yeah, if you're in the Matrix and you don't know you're in the Matrix, then you're perfectly fine. Next question comes from JBet, and you want to know, do I think that Denzel Washington would ever do a comic book movie franchise, and which one? No, I don't know. I don't think Denzel Washington would. I don't think he would do it now. I think it's too late. I mean, maybe 10, maybe 20 years ago when he was younger, sure, but I think an actor of his quality, I don't think he would. He feels the need to want to join a comic book movie franchise at this point in his career. I think he's doing just fine, and I mean, he's an absolutely incredible actor. Definitely, in my opinion, one of my top 5 favorite actors of all time. And that guy, in my opinion, has never made a bad movie that I can think of. But at this point in his career, I could not imagine Denzel Washington wanting to be part of a comic book movie franchise. And if he did, that would really surprise me. But someone of his caliber, I just don't think it would work. And with that, those are all the questions that you guys sent for this episode. I'd like to thank all of you guys for making this episode possible. If you guys have any questions you'd like me to answer in next week's episode, be sure to send it in the comments down below. Make sure you get them into me for next Wednesday before I start filming the next episode. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.